Okay, we're live.
Hello, and welcome to our Facebook Live series, Ask the Vision Loss Experts Coping with COVID-19. My name is Dr. Tricia Grant, and I'm the Senior Director of Low Vision Research at the Chicago Lighthouse.
And I'm Dr. Brian Walensky. I'm a low vision optometrist in New York City, and I work with OrCam Technologies. It is our intent for this series to discuss topics, engage people, share information as pertains to vision loss and during this time of social isolation and the COVID-19 pandemic. And in these episodes, we're bringing up topics and bringing in guests that concern the community during this time.
And we welcome everyone to join, whether you or a loved one is visually impaired or blind, or you just want to learn more about the experience of people who have vision loss, especially during this time.
Thank you for everyone who's been joining us each week. This is week 11. And if you know someone who you think may benefit from the discussions, you can take a moment to hit that share button on this post.
And over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about cities opening up across the country and all over the world. And we've been discussing the things that we're concerned with and the things that we're looking forward to. So as people become more comfortable with different activities, we can expect to see travel increase. So our question of the day is, when you feel comfortable with distant travel, where do you want to go first? And we ask you to drop comments in the comment section below and let us know, where do you want to travel when you feel comfortable doing so.
And we have a great guest joining us today. It's Ian White. I'll introduce him, and then he'll introduce himself as well, who is coming to us from Scotland, where he was born and raised. He has a wonderful family, his wife Denise of 38 years, who is a senior charge nurse with the National Health Services of Scotland, and they have two grown-up boys, Gary and Darren. Ian, as you can see, if anyone can see from his room that he's in his man cave there, he's an avid sports fan. He's got sports memorabilia up there. He follows the Celtic Football Club and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He loves music and enjoys socializing and traveling. Ian also works for OrCam Technologies and sales development in the UK. Ian began his sight loss journey in 2011. And with the help of his family, friends, and people at the RNIB, which stands for the Royal National Institute of Blind People, their visual support services, he has stayed the hardworking family man that he is. As Ian likes to point out, his aim is to help as many people who are blind and visually impaired as possible so he can empower them through technology. And Ian, there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad you're here, and I always enjoy speaking with you.
Wow, thanks very much, Brian and Patricia, for allowing me on your show. And what an introduction. What can I say? Thank you.
You're a very empowering individual, empowering others, so definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very impressive resume there. And I want to thank you for joining us, especially all the way from Scotland. And in our previous episodes, we've been talking about strategies for staying occupied during the quarantine, but you actually have been working and doing so remotely through the quarantine. So you have a little bit of a different perspective. What has home work life experience been like for you?
Oh, it's been different, that's for sure. And working with all the different social media platforms that's out there today, has helped a lot, you know, from Zoom to Teams to Ring Central to Google Meet. So yeah, quite a lot of different aspects there to work with, and just getting to talk to people on a daily basis, you know, blind and visually impaired people, trying to find out, you know, what technology they're looking for through OrCam and how I can assist them in moving forward.
No, that's great. So you are using a lot of things like Zoom, Ring Central. Have you found it very accessible?
Yes, surprisingly, it has been very accessible, especially Zoom. Zoom's one of the better ones. You know, I can work my way around Zoom. When we spoke the other day there, I was saying the only thing I can't do is find a decent background. in my Zoom, you know, something exotic, you know, maybe like Bali or something like that.
Well, your background looks fantastic, just so you know. So like most of us, you've been homebound for several months. And when we talked earlier this week, you were telling us that you really rely on the train as your primary mode of transportation. Have you been back on the train recently? And if so, what has it been like for you?
No, I haven't been on the train. So I've been working home since March 9th, so I haven't been on the train since then. However, it was announced at the beginning of this week past that all public transport travel, you must wear face covering, on the train. So once we start to come out of, the other side of this over the next few weeks, and we start to arrange appointments and to meet, with various different people, it's going to be a different concept to travel with face coverings. So it's going to be an experience.
Yeah, I've been on the subway and the trains here in New York City, and I say, it's a pandemic when the subways are cleaner than the streets. So, but it's been definitely an experience, and everyone wearing their masks. And I think it's just the same all over the world. Everyone's trying to get used to that, whatever our new normal is going to be. And there's a lot of the same issues between, US, UK, and no matter where you are all over the world in regards to this pandemic. But one issue that everyone keeps bringing up is shopping and accessibility, specifically in grocery stores.
Yeah.
So, what if anything is being done in the UK? Can you let us know to meet the shopping needs of people who are blind or visually impaired? I heard the RNIB was working on something, but I know you had some experiences and suggestions.
Well, initially, when this all lockdown kicked in, especially here in the UK, blind and visually impaired people weren't categorised as safeguarding them, so basically if you went to one of the local supermarkets where I live, they took you to a seating area and you were to tell them, what you were looking for in your shopping, and somebody would go and get 2 or 3 bits of shopping for you, come back, and then you tell them what else you need, and they would go away. And it was actually doing away with your independence. Somebody who's visually impaired can shop successfully. People, lots of visually impaired people particularly, they memorise areas of stores and they know where to go to. So that was taken away from them, and the RNIB jumped in there to say, what, blind and visually impaired people are vulnerable. Yeah. And they should get the same treatment as a person who, is either wheelchair bound or has MS or, whatever. So some of the supermarkets started to allocate time slots for blind and visually impaired people, and it seemed to work. One of the most popular ones that's been doing the rounds lately is click and collect. And that's where you can go online, do your shopping online, someone picks it for you, you've allocated a time, and when you go to the main door of the supermarket, your shopping's sitting in a trolley waiting for you. So that's become quite a popular concept moving forward. And I think that one will be there to stay for a little while.
I think that'll be a lot to stay for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. And how the ability to access a time slot, how has that been? Because I know we do have services like that in the US, but the complaint was that time slots were full at one point for several weeks, and people were really starting to ration their food supply. So how is that in the UK? Are you finding it's the same?
It's the same. For example, my wife was saying yesterday she's got a slot for July 9th. So, that's like over 2 weeks away.
Oh, wow.
So what she's had to do, she's had to plan, what she's wanting to buy a couple of weeks ahead. There are some slots available, but you tend to find that if your shopping doesn't include alcohol, you get an early time slot, simply because you're not allowed to purchase any alcoholic products before 10 a.m. So the pickers can't pick the alcohol before 10 a.m. So you tend to get an earlier time slot if you wish. Also, some of the supermarkets, for example, they have time slots for nursing staff, doctors, nursing staff, carers. They go into the shop. So here in my area, it's 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. which sounds a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, that's very early.
So basically you get a nurse or a doctor's up at 5 a.m. to do their shopping before they start their shift at 7:30. So but it is what it is, and we're getting the provisions that we need, and I think it's just something that we have to to take and watch carefully as we move on.
It's for those early risers.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome everybody again for listening. We're here with Ian White from Scotland, talking to us about what's going on in the UK during COVID-19. And as always, I'm Dr. Brian Walensky, and this is Dr. Tricia Grant, and Dr. Grant from the Chicago Lighthouse. I'm with OrCam Technologies, and we're talking about vision loss during COVID-19. So I think we wanted to talk more with Ian. So I think you had a question, Dr. Grant, I believe.
Yeah, we talked a bit about working from home, and one thing that you mentioned, Ian, is that you feel more productive. And I think that I'm hearing that from a lot of people who are working remotely. There's more productivity, there's more creativity, and that's a real true benefit to working from home. But I'm also hearing that it's really hard to separate out your life, your personal life and your work life. That balance is becoming a little bit more difficult in the sense that your workspace is really in your living space. So it's sometimes difficult to separate, because you might want to sit down and relax, but then there's your computer, and I feel like laptops just kind of call your name to come over and see what else is going on. So I feel like it's kind of hard to disconnect. What are some ways that you are finding that you're able to disconnect from work?
Oh, wow. You're right about the computer thing, because it just seems to be that I'm constantly on my laptop or on my iPad or on my phone doing something, whether it's, you constantly get messages and you just feel obliged to answer them.
Yeah.
7, 8 o'clock at night. Production wise, my production time has risen significantly working from home. And, this little baby here, the OrCam Read, has been keeping us very busy. We released that early March in the UK, and we've been keeping on top of that and doing various different remote demonstrations and remote presentations. So that's been keeping us very busy. Trying to split my work life from my home life is difficult because, as you can see, my man cave is my quiet area. So this is my working space, and downstairs is the sitting room and the kitchen. So I'm always up and down making coffee.
Yeah, coffee is essential right now.
So often. To separate my work life, actually I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. And a lot of them, strange as it may be, I've been watching things like things about the mafia, things about ganglands, things about sports documentaries, like the Michael Jordan, the Last Dance. That was amazing.
That was great.
That was just amazing. Every Monday night, I couldn't wait, 2 episodes. And then it was
you mentioned some other sports you were watching, because I know you're a huge sports fan, and you're really, I'm missing baseball, but team sports, you were talking about, how are you coping without sports? And you mentioned something about watching other types of sports.
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm not really missing it too bad. I thought I would have been. I think my concern is that I just think we're all moving too fast here to get back into sports. And I understand it's a business, and I understand the sponsorship involved in this, and there's big money involved in it. So I can understand why all these sports leagues are desperate to get back up and running. But I'm not missing it too bad. I tried to watch some football. The German Bundesliga actually do a quite good job. But I felt that the English Premier League, they kind of let us down a wee bit. I just don't think it was exciting. It's just like a training ground kickabout. So I kind of turned that off quite quickly. The golf, I watched the golf from last weekend. I found that a bit strange, but but it was exciting, because there was some exciting play, and the people that we didn't expect to be up in the leaderboard were up in the leaderboard, and the people we expected to be there weren't there. So
Yeah.
basically they were trunk slamming after the the second day and they were heading home.
So it's slowly starting to open back up. So you're
enjoying
little by little, which is great.
It is indeed. My sport, ice hockey, we're starting to look at the Stanley Cup resuming. I think it's late July. So that's going to be a strange concept because it's going to be held in two different villages. They're going to have hubs, and so that's going to be a bit strange watching ice hockey without any spectators or any crowd.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to be for the players, no spectators. So that's, I guess, the new normal that we keep talking about. And as we step out into our communities, many of the practices that we once embraced, such as shaking hands, hugging, are no longer acceptable. So how do you feel about these changes? And are you going to start adopting any new practices to replace the old ones?
Well, certainly listening to and talking to various different people, through social media, most people agree that they can see the handshake disappearing very, very soon. Like I mentioned the other night, I'm a handshaker, I'm a hugger, so those two things for me are going to be out long term. I think maybe I'll try and adopt the elbow tap. I don't know. I don't know. But one of the other things I've been known to do from time to time is when I meet someone, when I use a long cane, I use a long cane when I'm out and about. Sometimes when I meet someone, I'll give them a little love tap in the leg, hey, how you doing? Good. Tap, tap, so I may adopt that. I think that could be a good one for me.
Nice one. Yeah, as long as you're gentle.
Yeah. Most people
don't make anyone's legs buckle.
Well, most people do it to know I do it in jest. So
that's a good practice. Yeah, I have to think of something because I feel awkward. I'm just standing there, and sometimes I try to just smile, but I'm wearing a mask, so it doesn't matter. So I do think that we need to. I think eventually we'll come up with something.
There's been a lot of suggestions out there, but I think we have to be careful about how we approach these suggestions. I think today's society, people can get upset with certain suggestions, and we have to try and adopt our own that's safe and secure, and just making sure that we're all okay in life.
Ian, so we always ask our question of the day, and I know you heard it earlier. When things start opening up, for distance travel, where do you want to go? And I already know your answer, but where do you want to go first? Because I think you already have a trip planned. Hopefully, if it happens.
Well, yeah, we sort of around about mid-September, we're planning to head to the Rockies in Canada, through Alberta and into British Columbia. But one of the places that I'm really excited to visit is the Capilano Suspension Bridge. I want to walk that. I just wanted the experience of walking across the Capilano Suspension Bridge. It's always something I fancy doing. So, but do you know what? I mean, our airline have been in touch with us. They've put a lot of things in place, and they're resuming flights as of the end of July. But part of our trip across Canada is going to be done by coach, and to be honest with you, it's just a little concerning. We have, I think, maybe a week and a half to make a final decision, but we need to wait and see what's been offered to us before we make that decision.
I'm sure I
think to be honest with you guys, I think we're going to look at cancelling and wait till later in the year. I just think maybe it's just too soon. I just think the bus trip is the one that's concerning to us, because we're going to be a lot more confined rather than it's different than a plane, but in a coach I think it's slightly different.
I think a lot of people have that decision to make. If they have a trip planned, do they cancel now or wait it out? And a lot of refunds are being done, so they need to decide. But Ian, it was so great having you here. But I do want to ask you if you want to leave something with us. And what I'd like to maybe make a recommendation is something that stuck out in my mind that you said stuck in your mind that you learned early from the RNIB, from Vision Sports Services. So with that. Okay,
so early on in my sight loss journey, my vision support officer is a lady called Gail Ivory. She's a lovely person. We became good friends. In fact, we became work colleagues at one point when I worked for the RNIB as a peer support coordinator. She once said to me, you have to take on board 2 A's. You have to accept and adapt. If you don't accept your situation, you will never adapt your situation. And that has stuck with me ever since she said it. And I've been known to use that when I've been talking to other blind and visually impaired people, that I'm perhaps struggling, with either technology or just struggling in life. I've been known to use that phrase. And the other one is, a tortoise won't progress unless it sticks its neck out. So if you want to progress in life as a blind or visually impaired person, you have to stick your neck out.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I like it. It goes definitely for this time now as well, that everyone.
Yeah,
absolutely it does. Yeah,
it really does. Well, thank you so much, Ian, for joining us today. And thank you for you're joining us every week. So thank you for.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for being in the audience.
It's been a pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, guys, and thanks very much for the invite. And I hope you get lots of likes and lots of hits on
it.
Thank you.
No, I hope people listen to you. You accept and adapt and learn, and that's
I love it.
Each other. So thank you so much for helping teach and helping giving your story. So that's great. Thanks so much, Ian, and I can't wait to see you.
Okay, you too, Brian. Tricia,
right.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
And just like Ian was telling us his story, Dr. Grant, I know we wanted to hear from other people.
Yeah. Right? So we asked everyone last week, we started our stories line, and we're asking everyone to share their stories. And we just want to know what you're going through. What have you gone through? Do you have any thoughts to share? These don't have to be big, amazing stories. We just want to hear your everyday experiences. And so we want you to send them to us, and we're going to pick a couple to share each week, time permitting. And if you want your name attached to the story, just tell us. If you want to be anonymous, you can just let us know. So we want you to send your stories to stories@chicagolighthouse.org. Again, that's stories, STORIES, @chicagolighthouse.org.
Now, I know we had one to share, and I want to wait to do that, but because I want to get to people's the questions of the day, the question of the day, where people are saying where they want to go. So let's see, what do we have? And I know we get it all text to us, so we're looking.
Yeah, so I see Stephanie. She said, I'd love to go visit my mom in Minnesota, but I'd also be happy with a shorter road trip, maybe a few hours from Chicago. So yeah, I think that's a good goal. I think just a short road trip is probably a good way to, test how comfortable you are. You can always turn around and go home if you figure out you're not that comfortable. Don't get out of the car, just go home.
Right. And Rose Clay says within California, north and south, sometimes staying close to home, staying in maybe, I don't know if Rose, that's your home state, but California is wonderful. And you can go all the way from north to, drive south to north, north to south. It's a beautiful drive as well, and beautiful place to visit. Let's see, who else?
Andy. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Yeah, he says, my wife and I have cruise tickets for Eastern Caribbean, but I'm not sure if by February will we be past this and able to go. And if I recall correctly, they had tickets before, and they had to, he was so excited about the cruise, and then coronavirus hit in the middle of his cruise and he had to cancel. So I really do hope that you're able to go, Andy.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Travel again, do what they want again soon.
Yeah.
But
how about you, Dr. Walensky?
Me? So I do have a trip planned, and I do want to go, but it's not canceled yet. It's to Nashville. It's for my American Academy of Optometry conference. I have to do all my continuing ed credits, and actually I still have to do that. But not only that, it's Nashville, the city of music.
Yeah, it's fun in Nashville.
And and probably, that's of course work, but with a little bit of fun, I would like to get to Europe, just to see more places in Europe.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Scotland yet. I would love to go.
That would be a great trip.
And spend time with Ian.
Yeah, that would be great. A lot of fun. I think for myself, Yeah, well, for one, I do have a clinical trial starting in France, so I'm really hoping to be there at the start of the trial. It's been a long time coming. We've been going through a lot of planning, so hopefully I'll be there when it starts and kicks off. But other than that, my son and I are beach bums, so I just want to go to a beach. I don't really care where it is. We just want to, yeah, just be by the water. And I want to say hi to my son. He's watching for, I think, the first time this week. So hi, Kingston. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Hi, Kingston. Thanks for helping mom out too during all this. So we do have a story from Stephanie Sims, which is great because she's writing a book. I take it from this, and in her book, let me read what she wrote to us here.
Yeah.
It's a very, very interesting part of her book. It's in a chapter that she calls gratitude. So much more will be included in her book. As she says, I was minding my own business. That's the name of it. If I ever get around to actually writing it, she says, okay, well, you should. You should tell
This is a kickoff. Yeah.
This is a kickoff. You're going to start writing right after this.
Yep.
This part of my story would be in the gratitude chapter. With declining vision, Dr. Danielle Pizer, Illinois Eye Institute, hopefully I said that right, suggested I start cane training. It was unexpected, but somehow not shocking. I will be forever grateful because I've learned so much, not only about navigating my surroundings, but also about myself, learning to trust my trainer, my instincts, and also Fifi,
my cane. She named her cane. Yeah.
I love it. I didn't even realize I was in need of this assistance. The cane training is paused at the moment. I do look forward to continuing once it's safe for me to do so, especially because riding public transportation is next on the list. Then I'll be able to go visit my grand monsters. The goal is to be independent as possible. It's a scary journey at times, but I'm a glass half full kind of person. And I also realize that there are so many facing much bigger challenges. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, doctors. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you.
For giving us this opportunity to share. Grateful for your willingness and giving your time, knowledge, and compassion. No, thank you, Stephanie. It's all about sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, because
Exactly.
and just like Ian was sharing, Andy has, Robin has, all of us. We're all combining together for each other.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Stephanie. It's great to hear this. And I think that the message behind Stephanie's story here is to seek out services. Just find out what's available for you, because I really do think it opens a whole new world once you take advantage of the services that are out there for you. So thank you for your encouragement to others, Stephanie. This is what these stories do. You're telling your story, but you're also encouraging others and hopefully, promoting others and empowering others to do the same. So thank you so much.
Trying new things. Like she said, she didn't even think of the cane training and how that's working for you. It even goes for technology. Try everything out there.
Absolutely.
You see if it fits you, what your needs are, and then
I agree. Just try it. You can always say no, it's not for me, but I do always encourage, just like Dr. Linsky said, just try it out. Right. So thank you to Ian for joining us today, and thank you to Stephanie for submitting her story and being the first story for us to share with everyone. And always to our audience, thank you for joining us today.
And remember, you could send your stories to stories@chicagolighthouse.org. We do want to hear more of them, so thanks so much. And again, thank you, Ian, as well. And just as always, we're still in this pandemic. It's getting to that end. We're getting out there, getting out little by little, but still, remember, wear your mask and still don't touch your face. Take care.
Bye, everyone.